real quick video. Matt from CRS Firearms was going to make a video about jury nullification. And jury nullification keeps getting brought up in the world. Jury nullification doesn't work. There's no such thing as jury nullification today. The reason for that is that they've changed the rules of the game. Take Washington as an example, Washington State. As of a year ago, I haven't looked this up, but as of like a year or two ago, on a jury of 12, only 9 jurors had to find you guilty in order for the court to find you guilty. So that means that 3 people had to say, even if 3 people said not guilty, you were still found guilty. Ryan Whitmer, Butler County, Ohio. The first case was a mistrial for, I think it was evidentiary reasons, I'm not for sure. The second trial was a hung jury because jurors found him not guilty and some found him guilty, so they said it was a hung jury. It wasn't unanimous. The third trial, they wanted and gave him 15 to life. Like, I personally know the dude. I've met him. He couldn't hurt himself, much less kill his damn wife. But they got it in their heads, the circumstantial evidence, they defaulted to what was most likely, just as Matt said the other day in his video, let's default to what is most probable, what's easiest. And that's what the policing forces do. I've seen this happen literally hundreds of times. They get it in their head, the circumstantial evidence, and then they go with it. Now, whether you did it or not doesn't matter. They don't even have to prove that you did it. What they have to do is wear you out. If they arrest you for a crime, let's say you're facing 50 years, they make your bond $1 million, you can't get out of jail. Now you're sitting in the county jail fighting this case. Cases can go on for years, people. There's people in Hamilton County Justice Center right now that have been there 3 and 4 years fighting murder cases. And in that time, if you ain't got the will to like, being in jail is not like, I don't know how many people have been to jail before, but it's not like living at your house, man. You want to know what the county jail's like? Go lock yourself in the closet. Then let somebody tell you when to go in and out and lock your door behind you, tell you you can't lay down and sleep. Claremont County Jail, that place is so bad. They want to make it so horrible on you there. And it's not because they don't want you to come back. It's to make it easier on the workers. And that's exactly what it is. They locked, my buddy did, I don't know, a year down there or something. He said that in the morning, the cell doors are open from 6. They kick you out of your cell at 9 o'clock and they lock the door behind you so you can't go back in and lay down. Now, you would think they would want you to have a place to go to get away from people, like, you know what I mean? Just to keep things calm. But no, they won't get to beat you up then. They lock you back in your cell at 10:30 from 10:30 to 11. Then, like, then they lock you back out of your cell after 11 until like 4 or 4:30 when they lock you back in your cell. Then they let you back out for like an hour. It's just a big game. And it's not about, we're going to make it so miserable on you, you don't commit no more crimes. It's about making it easier on the fucking prison guards or on the guards at the jail. So imagine living that life for a year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and then so one person, or let's say 1 or 10, find you not guilty on a jury, but the 2 people or the 11 people say you're guilty. And now they're going to hit you with a hung jury and then fucking retry you again? No, here's what happens in that case. And they do it fucking intentionally. It's because after that point, they'll come at you and say, hey, you already got 4 years in on what will be on this case. You're facing 15 to life. We'll give you 10, and at that point, you're just so ready to move out and get away from that jail, you don't give a shit. You'd probably sign the 15 to life. It's a scam. It's a game. And the prison system's not about punishing you. It's about making you work for the state. There's not a prison job in Ohio that a prisoner's working today that the state doesn't benefit from in some way, form, or fashion. And then, like where my buddy's at, they force you to work. You don't get up and go to work, you are punished. They will make you want to go to work. But jury nullification, regardless, doesn't. There's no such thing today in the USA today. It doesn't exist. If you find a state where if 11 people say guilty and 1 person says not guilty, and that means a not guilty verdict, not a mistrial, and not guilty verdict, let me know, because I don't know of one. Every state that I know of, they have manipulated the laws to go in favor of the system. I mean, I've watched court cases like the Ryan Whitmer case. That case should have never went to trial, much less fucking 3 of them. But once they got invested in it, the cops, and they proved that the lead investigator lied in that case. It is a well-known fact. That was brought up at all 3 trials. But once they get it in their head and they get that, time in, they have to justify that time so next year they can put that check mark on the board and say, look, we've spent $1.2 million prosecuting cases and overtime for the cops to be paid witnesses. Get the fuck out of here, man. That's not the system we are supposed to have. You're being scammed. All of us are. And we've allowed ourselves to become so ignorant of the foundation, of the truth, of the facts. We just see a pile of rubble on top of it. In order to rebuild it, you have to tear it back down to that foundation to get there. Where's the foundation at? In my opinion, we have let the unproductive outnumber the productive. Now the 51%, because of democracy, which is evil, now rule over the 49%. And you're going to see it get worse. How do we fix it? I don't know. I wish I knew. I do know this, that you have to have a line. No matter what that line is. We have to have conversations today with our 9-year-olds that my dad never had with me. Choice conversations. If this happens, what does the family say that I do? A lot of my personal views on things when it comes to having the last say is what my family would want me to do. And most of the time, I would like to say all the time, but most of the time, their opinions is not based on what helps them or not. If dad's here or not, if dad's alive or not. My dad called me crying the other day when all this auto key card shit happened. And he called me crying. My sister just called me a minute ago, talking about my dad still all amped up about this shit going on with Justin from auto key cards. It's because my dad knows where my line's at. And he knows, my dad knows me. If I say something, that's just where it is. Come hell or high water, that's where it is. And he knows my position on it. And he knows, I don't want to bother nobody, dude, leave me alone. And we don't even know that that's what's going on with Justin. Fuck, we don't even know where Justin's at. He just disappeared. Once we figure that out, then, we can move forward. I think it's about auto key cards at all, though, in all honesty. I don't think Matt should maybe have made that video. I don't know. But, they hit us with so much shit. How do you fight it? Even if we moved away, even if we created, we bought 500 acres, we built a fucking Great Wall of China around it and stay out. They won't. They can't. Because if they leave you alone, then they have to leave me alone. If they have to leave me alone, they have to leave Bob alone. And it just multiplies. They can't allow you to have too much freedom. They can't. Because then they don't win the game. It's about the acquisition of wealth over a millennia. Over until the end of eternity, until the end of mankind, and how they do it. And here's how they're going to do this. I didn't mean to turn this video into this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. And you see this happening now, and I called this like a year ago. I forget what the number is. I think it's around 50% of mom and pop stores have shut down since the pandemic started, right? So in the end, all mom and pop stores are going to shut down. You're going to have Walmart, Amazon, Myers. You're going to have the big companies that stay. Well, when they let you know probably later this year that the dollar no longer means shit. You can go ahead and start wiping your ass with it or start fires with it. They will go to a digital currency, which they're trying to do. It's supposed to be out in April. At which point you have a social credit score, and somebody will dictate whether you can or cannot make these purchases from these certain places. So there's going to be a guy at Amazon saying, yes, you can purchase this from Amazon, or no, you cannot, based on your social credit score. And here's the kicker, guys. Whether or not you can buy it, doesn't matter. They're still going to take their cut. Because they did something for you. They decided for you. It's just a big scam. The best thing we could probably do right now is just get as far away from it as we can. That's what we need to do. Get as far away from the technology. There's going to come a day where, like, I'm going to be techless. I'm putting this phone down. Just because it rots your brain. It's not good for you. It changes families. These devices have ruined families. They have ruined lives. The worst drug in the world, and I know people personally, very intimately, that had decades-long heroin addictions. And that fucking heroin, they quit. The heroin had done less damage to their life than this phone does to my life. And that's no bullshit. Technology is a demon, man. It can be used for good, it can be used for bad. You make atom bombs and fucking kill civilians, all bad. So atom bombs are all bad anyway. I don't agree with them. But then again, government created them. Now government said you can't own one. It's a scam. It wouldn't be so much of a scam. Here's why it's all a scam. Here's what turned it into a scam. When those creating the rules became players in the game. So at one time our elected officials didn't receive payment salaries for their service because it was service. They were serving the people. George Washington used to say, "How can I serve you?" And then he turned into a tyrant. But once they had stake in the game, wealth, from the rules of the game, it was game over for us. You know why it took them so long to get the stimulus bill through? It wasn't because they were hashing out how to give it to you or how much you should get or none of that shit. That's just been settled forever. They were protecting their fucking money. Protecting their money. Congress is so slick about it. They got it made. They create their own salaries, their own wages. They even create the laws that affect themselves. Nobody in Congress can be charged with a crime that was committed while in session. How do they become multimillionaires after a year or two in the congressional seat, you ask? Insider trading. They've made it to where it's illegal, but they can't be charged for it. Look at Omar from Minneapolis. She's worth like $4.4 million now. She was worth nothing before she went in there. Go look at AOC's, how much she's worth. I bet she's worth millions too. Was a bartender 2 years ago. I guess everybody's got to hit the lottery, huh? That ignorant motherfucker did. Nancy Pelosi's so out of her goddamn mind. We have the damn mentally ill running the asylum now. All of them. 80 years old, been in office for 30 years. You know, Nancy Pelosi's worth damn near $1 billion. And people ask, why? If it's about a game, it's about gaining wealth, how much is enough? All of it. That's how much is enough. In their minds. Greed. Greed is what destroyed this country. Personal greed. I learned about greed a long time ago. Greed will get you every time in the end. Every time. But see, the thing is with them, since they create the rules and they're playing the game, their greed doesn't necessarily affect them. Why? Because they pay the people that are enforcing the rules. But anyway, jury nullification don't work. It's a fantasy.